Brooklyn-born entrepreneur who went from Wall Street failure to building a 55-location and growing franchises.
I blow my book of business to pieces. The $100,000 my father gave me, that was his retirement, gone.
So you tanked your dad's money?
Blew it to pieces. I'm down and out on my luck, and I meet this guy, and he shows me his sales. He was on pace to do $800,000 for the week. He was doing north of 30 million in sales. My jaw hit the floor. I looked at him and I said, "Thank you. I'm quitting my job when I go home." I quit Wall Street. I opened Baya Bar. 3 days later, some girl walks in that I wind up marrying. I'm selling literally ice in the winter, and there's just a line out the door. I'm like, okay, we got something here. We said, okay, it's time to start looking at franchising.
What's the average Baya Bar make?
So believe it or not.
What it is, Brad Lee back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real treat for you. Billy Loesch in the house.
What's up, Brad? Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for being here. And folks, pay attention. It's Loesch, Loesch. Loesch. You can find him at Billy Loesch. Dude's in his early 30s, founder and CEO of Baya Bar franchise. Sounds like you're saying buy a bar.
It does sound like that.
But it's not. It's Baya, B-A-Y-A.
Slang for berry in Spanish.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
And a modern Italian restaurant, Torina, which sounds like it has unbelievable food. Brooklyn-born entrepreneur who went from Wall Street failure to building a 55-location and growing franchises, soon to be hundreds, and now expanding into business consulting.
Yeah.
Why? What makes you want to do that?
That's a great question. I mean, when I first started the business, the idea was focus on the business. One, prove this concept actually works, learn all the kinks, work the kinks out, and then eventually grow this business and scale the business. Well, now 9 years later, the business is growing, it's scaling, and we're having success. And it seems like there's a huge gap in the market for people giving really good advice on how to start retail businesses, how to sell their products and services, and not really from a marketing standpoint, but more from like a picks and shovels, nuts and bolts standpoint.
Operations.
Correct. So a lot of people have been reaching out over the years, and I just kind of give my advice, through DMs and emails, and sometimes do a phone call or a meeting in person. But I've never really focused on, hey, how can I really help the masses? So I've decided now it's a great time to start doing that.
Why?
I think that
you got evidence.
Well, I think there's proof of concept and there's credibility that the business is in year 9 and successful. But I've also learned a lot over the years, and I have a really capable team now that I never had before. So I was bogged down in the minutia of the business. Now I'm more, looking at it from a more zoomed out approach. And one of those approaches to growing the brand, growing the business, is to start doing the consulting side of things. And it's just something I love. I love helping people, really is what it boils down to.
Yeah. And not only that, I mean, you know what you're doing. So that helps.
That helps. That definitely helps a little bit.
Well, there's people out there that'll sell you freaking coaching and shit. But like all they're really doing is saying, come on, man, you can do it. Just don't quit.
Yeah.
Just don't quit, brother. When they're wanting actual answers, So how did you scale the business? So first of all, you grew up in Brooklyn. Your whole life?
Whole life. Brooklyn, Bay Ridge, Brooklyn.
Yeah. So you went from, selling candy. What was that? Like a kid candy thing like I did?
So I don't know what you did. You have to tell me about that. But when it seemed like from an early day, I'm talking about first, second grade, I always wanted to make money. I just didn't know what to do. Obviously at such a young age. So a friend of mine, my best friend, growing up, we would sell like little trinkets and things like that from a magazine called Oriental Trading. As I got older, I was in Boy Scouts. I would sell knives to kids at Boy Scout camp that we would buy online for pennies on the dollar. And then that hustle continued into college. I sold life insurance while I was a college student. I started a recycling business when I was in college. So I always had that hustle mentality. And it kind of just kept growing and evolving and growing and evolving. So,
well, you didn't get it from your dad.
Well, dad was a police officer, but he was actually a very, very hardworking guy. He had a security business. He drove limos for a period of time, so he worked multiple jobs. So that blue collar, hard work, put your nose down and grind work ethic was there for mom and dad. Mom also very, successful in the marketing world, media world in New York, which was very hard for women in the 80s and 90s. So both of them very hard workers. So they instilled that hard work in me.
Well, hard work isn't going to do it.
You have to learn. You have to make the mistakes, right?
Well, let me clarify so people don't rip me apart when I say that. To me, hard work is like labor. Backbreaking, get home tired labor. And that's what I think hard work is. And those guys usually get paid the least. I mean, cops don't get paid a bunch of money.
Yeah, you're right.
They put their damn lives on the line all day for pennies. So like you started selling gum, freaking started hustling candy. You were like entrepreneurial and hustlery, where your dad was more like, worker, like police officer, like, in other words, he didn't go start businesses. Did he try and it didn't work out, or what happened?
I mean, there's probably things maybe at another time. The security business would be one of it. But to your point, no, you're 100% right. It was more of that, I guess 9 to 5 style of work.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? It's also a different era.
Yeah.
That's what my dad was. Blue collar, worked at the mill. He had a little entrepreneurial spurt, opened up a pizza parlor, started this little local newspaper, started doing pretty well. We built a nice house, and we were actually on that way. Somebody got in a accident after drinking at our tavern, or his tavern. Got sued. My uncle was his partner in that place. They apparently canceled the insurance, save a little money.
Wow.
Got wiped out. Boom. Went right back to the mill and never left again. I think he had a little entrepreneurial, but it got beat out of him because he lost. Which again, you would think, man, with that work ethic, he'd just do it again, because work ethic is good. But when you accept a salary, to me, it's like, I don't know how people do that. And you never did that. You were always entrepreneurial. So was your dad entrepreneurial? Was your mom entrepreneurial? Where'd you get it from?
That's a great question. I don't know where
Uncle?
Or who I got it from. No, we had family, friends, people within our circles, the area that I'm from in Brooklyn, middle to upper middle class, there were a lot of successful people. And I just looked at what those people were doing. We weren't rich. We definitely were not poor by any means. But I saw the people that had more. And when you're a kid, when you're with one group of people and you feel like, oh, this is great, this is comfortable. And then you go into another realm of, oh, these people are in a different stratosphere when it comes to wealth. As a kid, you don't know how to handle that. And a lot of times, and, my parents did an unbelievable job, providing. So it's not a knock against them. It's just when you're young, you don't know how to process it. There was times where I was like, oh, we don't have that. You almost feel like embarrassed, like, they're looking down on you. Right. So I always had this thing inside of me of like, I'm better than these kids. I'm not better than their parents that are making all this money, but I'm young still. But I know that I can achieve stuff like this if I really just work my ass off. And I think, over time, it was the shift of mindset. The hard work, the work ethic was there. The want to make money was there. But the mindset shift that eventually took place was, oh, it's okay to fail. It's okay to lose. That's part of the game.
Yeah, that's why most people never start.
Right.
Because I might fail. Well, I'm here to tell you, you probably will. But why would you not start over that? So you've somehow figured that out. Because again, somehow I figured it out. My dad was a little bit entrepreneurial at once. And I think, because I always ask, like, why was I that way? My brothers, laborers, generally, one of my brothers is, and maybe it's an era thing, because my younger brother's a little more entrepreneurial. The older brother's more hard work. So it's like, it's, I don't know what causes it, but I want to figure it out so we can share with the world. Why? Well, because, dude, there's people out there, hardworking, good people, like your dad, like my dad, bust their ass. You know, they live fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They live fine. My dad lived fine. We weren't broke, but we weren't rich either. But the same amount of work they're putting in could make them rich if they just get out of labor jobs. Find whatever it is you and I found or naturally had and become entrepreneurial. Sales, really. Yeah, I sold candy. That's why I said, were you selling the candy thing? They'd give me candy bars to go sell for the school. And I just came out with a pitch that worked, and I outsold everybody on earth. It was like, and, you know, I didn't realize that was a gift. I just, you know, kicked everyone's ass selling candy bars. But looking back, it's like, oh, dude, I came up with a slick little presentation that probably no one else was doing, and I crushed. So I'm just trying to picture you in Brooklyn growing up. Your dad's a cop, so he's just freaking, you know, busting his ass, protecting people. Your mom's in marketing.
Yeah.
Salary,
like pioneer of work from home. She always worked from her home office.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so that was cool. But salary, yep.
Salary. So well, probably actually, a good middle class.
Obviously, the more business that they acquired, more clients, they would, you know, obviously make more money. But yeah, she, you know.
But she didn't own it.
Correct.
She worked there.
Correct.
And obviously your dad didn't own the police department.
Right.
He worked there. Right. Is he still a cop?
No, he retired after 9/11.
Well, thank God he made it.
Yeah.
A lot of cops, man. I always wanted to be a cop. I think that's the funnest job. If someone told me right now, Brad, I'll make you a police officer, no pay, I'll do it. I just think it'd be fun, dude. I always wanted to be a cop. And I'm sure he has stories.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Was he homicide or was he?
No, he was a cop in Brooklyn and actually all over Manhattan, Harlem. And he got into a big shooting. Someone, it happened to be a postal police officer that was in plain clothes, got hit with a stray bullet and died. And they were able to apprehend these three guys. So he got a big award from the mayor at the time, was Mayor Koch. And they said,
Ed.
you know, yeah, yep. And they asked him, where do you want to go? What do you want to do with your career? My dad's a big motorcycle guy. He's like, I want to go to highway patrol. I want to ride motorcycles. He was always a motorcycle guy. So he wound up going to highway patrol, and he was a training sergeant over there. And that was his career.
What does he think of your success?
Oh, he's super proud. He's super impressed.
Is he like asking what I'm asking? Like, how the hell did you do this?
You know, it's funny. Up until recently, he was still knocking me for not becoming a cop or a fireman. He's like, that pension's great. I'm like, Dad, I have like a national brand now. Like, can we move past the 9th of, it's in that old school mentality. But no, he's at a point now where he's just really happy and supports everything that I'm working on.
So what was this trip that completely shifted your perspective?
Yeah. So when I graduated college, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to make money. So where can you go make a lot of money in New York?
In New York? Wherever they're dealing drugs.
That's one of them.
What's the other one?
Wall Street.
Oh yeah, Wall Street.
So
I forgot totally about that because I also wanted at one time to be a stockbroker after I saw Wall Street.
Yes.
Like, dude, I want to be a stockbroker.
So a lot of our family friends that had money that were from Brooklyn or, Staten Island, New Jersey, they were in finance. They were brokers, bond brokers, stock brokers, worked for hedge funds, whatever it was. So those were really guys that I looked up to. One of my very, very close family friend, I call him my uncle. He was a bond broker. So when I graduated, I said, okay, life insurance isn't really my thing. I'm like talking to old people about death. It's kind of morbid. But Wall Street, I can make a lot of money. So I went down to Wall Street, took an interview, got hired. And I'm like, great, I'm going to make all this money now. And they're like, no, you need to get your licenses. You're not making anything. You could start generating leads and you could, do stuff for us around the office, but there's no selling. Okay. I go into basically my basement for like 4 or 5 months as I'm working on Wall Street, getting paid, I think, $500 a week. It's funny. I actually said that in an interview once, and people were like, "Oh, do you think that's poor? $500 a week in New York is nothing." So I'm making basically nothing, and I'll never forget it. I passed my Series 7, and I walk into work the next day with my chest puffed out. I'm ready to take over the world. I rip open my book of leads. I pick up the phone, and one of my bosses comes in. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "About to make you rich, brother." He's like, "Put that phone down." So I'm thinking, oh, they're razzing me right now. Like, it's my first day as a broker, cut my tie type of thing. He's like, "You got to get your Series 63. I'm like, "What the hell is that?" He's like, "That's your state license." I look at all the other brokers in the room. They're like, "Yeah, he's telling the truth." I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Go back into the basement for like another 3. I go book the test for the end of the month. I barely studied. I just was like, this is insane. I get my 63. I passed, and I start selling stocks as a retail stockbroker. And it was basically like 3 years of just getting kicked in the shins and in the nuts every day. And that business, what I could tell people about that business is you can make a lot of money. But the problem with that business is you could be the best salesman in the world, and you could have a client that loves you. And then you buy that stock, and for some reason that company does something that causes that stock to go down. It's completely out of your control. So I felt like I wasn't in control of my own destiny. So to circle it back to this life-changing trip, I think it's 2015. Yeah, it's the day after Thanksgiving. They called it Black Friday. OPEC decided not to cut oil. And oil over the last couple of months before that had gone from basically $100 a barrel down to $33 a barrel. What was my entire book of business invested in? Oil. Not the large guys, all small caps. So I blow my book of business, my small book of business that I took 3 years to build, I blow it to pieces.
And you're the one that told them, oil, you got to get in oil.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's a commodity.
Is somebody telling you, sell oil?
Well, the firm was definitely heavily invested in oil. Who'd
you work with? Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe?
I'm not going to say the name of the firm, but it was we were an OSJ of a broker dealer. We were small.
Bendham Dover?
Yeah, basically. We had a lot of good guys. The Wall Street that I worked in was a very ethical Wall Street. The chips were stacked against us.
You weren't Stratton Oakmont.
No, there's no Jordan Belforts. Probably would have made a lot of money, but would have been doing a lot of unethical things. So yeah, oil, $33 a barrel. And my book of business is gone. A couple of dollars that I had, gone. The $100,000 my father gave me, that was his retirement, gone.
Your grandfather, you said?
My father.
So you tanked your dad's money?
Blew it to pieces.
Did you talk him into giving it?
Yeah, of course.
Well, and you made a commission, so you probably feel like
no, I didn't take a commission on dad.
So when the barrels go down to 33, can't you just like hold because it came back up? Selling when you're down is the dumb thing.
So great point. And this is where I fucked up, which today I would know better. You have small caps, mid caps, large cap companies. Market cap, for those who don't know what cap means. We were heavily invested in small caps. And when oil dropped that low, the small caps can't make money.
So they went out of business.
A lot of them went out of business. And I'll never forget, there was a company we were heavily invested in. And on CNBC, they had a breaking news release. The CEO of the company drove his truck 130 miles per hour into a wall and killed himself.
See, why? Dude, just start over.
But again, like that was just like the cherry on top of like, wow, things must really be that bad.
His? Closer. It's in my mouth. Hey, so I don't know why anyone would do that over money.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
dude, start over. You know how many times I freaking started something and it didn't work and I freaking crashed and I'm like, fuck. And then we just do it again.
Man, listen, maybe there was like fraud involved. Maybe this guy was looking at jail time. I don't know that particular story, but it was like the exclamation point on how bad the sector was and what we were invested in. So
is the lesson there, don't invest in small caps?
Well, yeah, the lesson there I think is one, is diversify your portfolio. Two, invest in big companies that can weather the storm. And three, when things were down, I was pitching buying oil itself, the commodity. Like, hey, these companies may stay in business, they may go out of business, but we know oil's not going anywhere. So let's reinvest what we have in oil. And I was right. I was spot on.
But no one listened.
No, of course not. I had just lost all their money.
How old are you at this time?
I'm 25.
So it ain't that long
25,
ago.
26. No, it's about a little over 10 years ago.
Are they all asking you to give them their money back now?
No, they understood at the time that this is just what happens sometimes, but it was bad. I was really depressed for a while.
I bet, dude. That would be fucked.
No, sickening.
Plus, especially your dad and everybody else. Like, damn.
Bad.
And were you naive? You had no idea that even probably could happen. It's oil, dude. Oil ain't going anywhere.
You know what? The guys around me were all making a lot of money and they were doing well and they were all heavily invested in it. So I'm thinking, things look good. And listen, again, great guys. They, nothing malicious on their end. We just picked a loser. So my buddy turns to me that doesn't work on Wall Street. And he's like, listen, man, you got to take a trip and clear your head. I'm like, take a trip and clear my head. I have to rebuild my book of business that I just blew to pieces. It took me 3 years and it's nothing now. Come on. What is a few days going to do? Let's go. So this one friend of mine, him and I used to fly standby and we would travel random places for a couple days, have a great time. He's like, come on, we're going to go to Austin, Texas. We're going to have a great time. They have South by Southwest down there. The city's blowing up. It's becoming this big, great popular place to visit. All right, fine. He convinces me. The night before we go, because we're flying standby, we're checking the flights, we're checking the weather. It's raining in Austin, Texas. I'm like, dude, I'm not going to Austin, Texas if it's raining. You already convinced me to do something I don't want to do. I'm not going. So last second, he pivots. He's like, we're going to go to San Diego. I have some family out there. We'll spend a few days in San Diego and then we'll head up to LA. We'll see my uncle, who's a big entrepreneur, who's really a mentor of mine. Okay, cool. Let's do it. We go to San Diego. I fall in love with San Diego, one of my favorite places. This is my first time going. And it's our last night in San Diego. And, there's all these places in Pacific Beach, Mission Beach. They all face the ocean because the sunsets are just unbelievable. And we're standing at this table and the place is packed and we have a 4-top. It's just the two of us. So this couple walks over. They're like, hey, do you mind if we share the table with you? Of course, no problem. My buddy starts talking to the wife. I start talking to the husband. And he had to be about 7-8 years older than me. This guy, he's probably in his early 30s, mid 30s at the time. And we start talking the stock market. And I could just tell he's a well-off guy. He's put together. He's got a beautiful watch on, but very humble guy. So I asked him, so, what do you do for a living? I've actually never reconnected with this guy. I hope one day he hears this story.
He might be listening.
I hope so. He goes, he tells me, I manufacture and distribute LED light bulbs. Because do you know about LED light bulbs? I'm like, yeah, they cost a little more money, but they last forever and you save on the energy bill. And he's like, yes, thank you. That's what I've been trying to tell people. He goes, you get it. He goes, but unfortunately, no one really gets that. He goes, so I came here from the Netherlands and I started selling light bulbs door to door, business to business. I couldn't sell any. He's like, I'm down and out on my luck. I'm giving you the abridged version. I'm down and out on my luck. And I meet this guy, kind of like how I'm meeting you, he tells me. And he says, he tells me, why don't you upload them to this website called Amazon? He's like, who the hell is going to buy a light bulb on Amazon? But sure enough, he uploads all of his inventory to Amazon. He sets up his store. He goes live. And the first or second day he goes live, he sells one light bulb. By the third day, he's selling 2-3 light bulbs. By the second week, he's selling 10 light bulbs a day. He turns, he looks at me and he says, that was about 3.5 years ago. Okay, well, how many light bulbs are you selling a day now? So he's a really humble guy. And he's like, I'm like, listen, man, I need this right now. I'm in a bad place. So he opens up his Amazon seller account or whatever it's called, and he shows me his sales for the week. He's like, he goes, there's 2 more days or 3 more days left in the week. He was on pace to do $800,000 for the week. You know, quick math. He was doing north of 30 million in sales. I mean, my jaw hit the floor. I processed it. I looked at him and I said, thank you. I'm quitting my job when I go home. I didn't want to leave Wall Street because I had the Series 7 and the 63 and I had put all this time and energy in. And I felt like I was letting a lot of people down. My bosses, my coworkers, my family. He's like, please don't do that. Don't leave your job. I'm like, no. I'm leaving. With that, my buddy hits me on the arm. He's like, dude, we got to go drop these bikes that we rented off. You know, we're leaving tomorrow. Hey man, I'll be right back. We drop the bikes off. I tell my buddy the story. He's like, did you get his contact info? I'm like, no. He's like, let's get back there. Drop the bikes. We go back. They're gone. I'm like, wow, that's a sign. I go home. I quit Wall Street. I start working on a few different projects, Baya Bar being one of them. I open Baya Bar. 3 days later, some girl walks in that I wind up marrying. And I'm like, holy shit. If it wasn't raining in Austin, Texas, back in 2015, early 2016, none of this happens.
Isn't that crazy how life works? Why Baya Bar?
We originally had a different name.
But you know, it's acai.
Oh, you mean from a concept standpoint?
Yeah, I mean, like you just went from Wall Street. This dude's selling light bulbs. I'm thinking, okay, well, dude, the story's going to be where. So then you opened an Amazon store, and that didn't work out. Like you ended up franchising an acai bowl franchise concept, which is, I imagine, like, you know, you walk in, you pick a bowl and put on your toppings and freaking eat your bowl. What is Baya Bar? Like that? Acai, right? It's that purple shit.
Well, yeah, acai bowls, smoothies, fresh juices, coffee.
Healthy stuff.
Yeah, it's a health food shop.
Is acai really healthy though?
It depends.
It tastes so damn good. How can it be healthy, dude?
Well, acai is very chalky. So 99% of places that sell acai, they're buying acai that's sweetened with something. Whether it's sugar alcohols like erythritol, which a lot of our competitors do, which have been known to cause cancer. You can use dates.
Monk fruit,
you know, cane sugar.
stevia.
All of that. So
what do you guys use?
We have 2 different acais. We're actually launching our unsweetened acai very soon, and the other one has a little bit of organic cane sugar in it.
I know, but at some point, dude, you had to think, yeah, acai berry.
So I think the aha moment was, I always give myself the $1 billion test when I'm looking at a new business venture. What's the pathway to $1 billion? Might not get there, but what's the pathway? And I saw a pathway in this space. It was blowing up in California. It had just started getting popular on the East Coast, but there was really no one doing it in New York, one of the best markets in the world. So I'm like, okay, all the juice shops in Manhattan had their come up. You know, there's a couple brands that blew up about 7 to 10 years before I opened Baya Bar. I'm like, okay, you know, juice shops have been around for decades. Smoothie shops have been around by and large since the 60s. Proven concept. This is cool because it kind of enhances those 2 concepts. Now it's a real bona fide meal replacement and it's healthy. You don't have to go healthy. You could throw the Nutella on it and all the other crazy toppings, but there's a lot of healthy options here and there's no one doing it. So that was the inception of like, okay, riches and niches. This is a niche market. Let me try this. I might fail, but I'm going to try it. I think it's going to work. I'll give it, 110% effort. And then what's the pathway to $1 billion? So I knew that there was a pathway there also, through whether it was franchising or raising capital. So it kind of just checked all the boxes for me.
You started with one, right?
Oh yeah. Started with one in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, where I'm from. And then
was it like wildly successful?
Yeah. I think the first day we opened, the sales that we did on the very first day, we've never gone that low since that day 9 years ago. Just every day was getting busier and busier. And it was weird. We're selling cold acai bowls. I opened the store December 28th of 2016. So I'm selling literally ice in the winter. And there's just a line out the door. I'm like, okay, we got something here.
Do you think it's because it was your only one?
I think it's because I'm extremely good looking. No, I think because there was nothing there, right? Like we had a really cool brand. Like people just liked the brand when we launched. It was hot. It was getting really hot on the East Coast.
In December?
No, just like in general, acai bowls in general were getting really popular at that time. And then it was just a really great spot, high school up the block, densely populated area. I'm from that area, so people really wanted to support me. So
did you select that location?
I did, yeah.
So there was some strategy involved.
Yeah, so in the early days, I had a partner. I brought on, I teamed up with a guy who had that location. So it was kind of happenstance that we were going to do this concept at this location and then see kind of where it goes. And then, how business unfolds. You don't know where it's going to take you, but the first location just took off. So within the first year, we opened 2 more.
Was it printing money or?
Yeah, it was crazy in the early days. Like, listen, business.
Were you the only owner, or did you go get some money from people?
So I had partners in the beginning.
You bought them out?
Yeah, they have 2 guys have a minority stake now, but they were with me for a while, and I have to give them a lot of credit. They trusted this 26-year-old kid who had no food and beverage experience
and just lost everybody's money.
Yeah, I don't think they knew that part. I didn't tell them about that. I said, acai doesn't work out. We could just buy oil. But yeah, so we just started cranking them out, and within about 2 years, we said, okay, it's time to start looking at franchising, and that's kind of how it unfolded.
See, I'm always against franchising because there's so many rules and regulations. So, like, why'd you choose that route?
Well, I think
I'd buy a franchise because the rules are set up kind of to protect me.
Right.
But like to be the franchisor, like, dude, you guys are like hamstrung.
Well, there's pros and cons to either franchising or having them all be corporate owned stores. With corporate owned stores, it's a lot more of a cash outlay up front to open up stores.
Yeah.
And then you're dealing with the day-to-day minutia of running those stores. And when you're just starting out and you don't have a lot of capital and you don't have a big team, and it took me years to keep working through the kinks and perfecting and getting cost of goods down. That just didn't seem like a good option. I said, you know what, franchising, all the things we're doing good, we can replicate it. And there's going to be people who want this guidance. And I think I could scale it faster franchising rather than going the corporate store route. So it was really, I looked at both options. I just happened to say franchising seems like the better option for where I was at that time in life. Today, if I started a brand and it was well capitalized, maybe we don't go the franchise route, maybe we do. But at that time, that was the best way to continue scaling the brand.
And plus, I would imagine, your OPM is in effect with that.
Well, so actually, what's OPM?
You've never heard of OPM? Are you down with OPP? Huh? You never heard of OPP? Yeah, you know me. Down with OPP. Dude, other people's money.
Oh, other people. Yes, I've heard that concept.
Yeah, like franchising, like you're saying, hey, give me $50K, I'll give you my blueprints, and you go do all the work and just give me a little piece for my niece, a little fraction of the action, a little tad for Brad. You guys might call it a royalty. Do you do royalty or franchise fee or what?
Yeah, we do both. So franchise fee is like the upfront licensing fee, right? That covers the legal costs. access to the brand, the training.
blueprints.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's why I do franchises, because you already figured the fuck out. I ain't got to figure it out, bro. I say, what's your average store make? You go, well, on average, it makes this much. Okay, well, you're going to tell me exactly how to do it. And you go, absolutely. Well, that's worth the 50 or 100K or whatever the franchise fee is. Because there's always, why would I get a Baya Bar for 50K? I'm not saying, by the way, it's 50K, folks. I'm making it up because there's a fee.
35K.
35K. That's good. So I'll give you 35K. You're going to give me fucking 9 years worth of information.
Right.
And support me, because you don't want me to fail.
Right.
If I fail, nobody thinks, oh, Brad Lee's spot failed. They go, Baya Bar doesn't work. So you're very concerned about my well-being, which is why I kind of like I do the franchise model as a franchisee, franchisor, handcuffs. I got to support everybody, but I do like the fact that it's your money that you're putting in. So I don't have a big upfront, because if it's corporate, dude, I got to pay everything.
Right. Right. And I think also what people don't think about when it comes to retail is that owner operated is so important. It's just better customer service. You build better relationships. You manage payroll better. You manage cost of goods better. So, I've been approached over the last 9 years many times. Hey, we have 25 shopping centers. We want to put you in all 25, or we want to put you in 10 of them, 12 of them. Or someone who says, hey, we're liquid for a couple $1 million. We want to do 15 stores.
How do I get your merchant services account?
You bring me back on the podcast, we'll talk about that.
All right, deal. Dude, because I can eliminate your credit card fees. Do you pay them, or have you eliminated them yet?
So we still pay credit card fees. We don't pass them on to the customer.
Crazy. Why?
It's just, we have a pretty, listen, I'm not going to say we're competing with your rate.
Wait till you have 5,000 locations.
Right.
Let me tell you something. It's a matter of when, bro. If you're a last ditch holdout, you're eventually going to do it. Why? Why would you pay the fees?
Well, you mean passing it on to the customer?
Why would you pay the fees for your customer?
So it's a great point. I'll tell you why we haven't done it yet in all of our locations.
Because I ain't got to you.
Well, no.
And by the way, that ain't the only way to do it. I can lower your fees. I guarantee it.
Okay.
So if you're like, I don't want to do the old pass it on or cash discount, we're the old fashioned guy. We want to make them love us. Because I read this little thing right here where basically you did bigger portions, you made higher quality, even though it cut into your margins, you wanted to serve the customer.
Yeah.
So you're probably one of those guys like, no, we don't want to do it. But you will eventually. I think the whole world will eventually. Because I get people going, we don't want to charge our customers. And I'm like, then why is your fucking bowl $5.95? Well, that's for the acai bowl. They don't give a shit whether it's for the acai bowl or the fucking merchant fees. Like, dude, you're charging your customer. Who cares what it's for? Give them a killer product. Let them pay their own customer service fees. And then I've talked a bunch of them into it. And then some of them are like you. They're like, nah. Well, and I'm like, I'll wait for you, big dog. Because you will eventually. I think everybody will. The whole world will.
Well, I didn't want to be a first mover on that. I felt that it was bad taste if I'm doing it and like most of my competitors or people in my quote unquote market or similar market aren't doing it. So what we rolled out recently is we've given franchisees the option. If they want to do it, they can do it. There's also a lot of rules and guidelines specifically in New York. So if they want to do it, they can do it.
I'm gonna close you next time you're here.
Yeah. All right.
I think you need to do it. And it's not cash discount. It's not charge your customers. I can just lower your fees. Whatever your fees are, I'll lower them.
Whatever's good for the business, good for the franchisee. I'm always open-minded to that.
Yeah.
That's how I've taken the approach to this business in general.
Yeah. Well, again, I can help you. It won't help your customer any. But
it will, right? Because
not really.
If we're saving money on one side, then we know that we can give back something on the other side.
No, but they're not paying it.
Okay.
So it's like when they walk in, let's say your bowls are $5. When they go $5, it gets whacked $5. Now, by the way, their credit card fees are paid by you. So it doesn't cost them anything. So if I save you half of them, I save you half of them, unless you're going to go, well, then I can give them another scoop of acai. Oh, God. Like, that's okay, whatever. But, dude, most people don't. They just take the savings and they put it into marketing, or they hire another, they hire another employee. They open another location. I mean, it's when you have a lot of locations, dude, you know how much processing fees like a Chipotle has?
Oh, yeah.
And they don't leave it up to the franchisee. They're like, dude, this is how we do things.
Well, let me, I guess, walk back that last statement about the customer. We have two customers. We have the ones that are coming and buying bowls and smoothies. Then we have our franchisees.
Yeah. And that model, yeah.
So this is directly helping franchisees, which obviously, if it's not adversely affecting the customers that walk into the store and it's helping our franchisees, I'm all for it.
Good. Welcome to Real Merchant Services.
There we go.
And by the way, anybody needs merchant services, folks, I'll eliminate your fees or definitely lower them. Yeah, turn it into a Bradley commercial. So, well, it just dawned on me because I'm like, dude, he's got 55 locations. He's got a freaking bunch of credit cards, I'm sure, getting whacked every day.
Oh, yeah.
So where do you get your acai? Where do you get your high quality? Like, is there a million different acai, some cheap, some quality?
Yeah, so we get ours directly through our manufacturer from Brazil. All acai is supposed to come from Brazil. I'm not saying that it all comes from Brazil, but comes from Brazil. It's organic. And then, a lot of acai is, you call it watered down, right? There's only a certain percentage of acai in that sorbet or in that brick. We've been really intentional with having the majority of the product acai based.
Yeah, quality.
Yeah, quality. And
you got a good looking brand here. I mean, it looks like a quality brand, it's a quality merch. Is it like a high end acai shop?
Well, I wouldn't say it's high end in terms of price. We're right at where the market is. You have these brands from Manhattan, Miami, LA. They charge $22, $25 for an acai bowl or a smoothie. That's not who we are.
Then they dick you on the amount of bananas you can put on.
Yeah, exactly. But we wanted to do quality, but also make it approachable. Because again, I'm looking at this from a scale standpoint. Did you
learn that shit in college?
I think I just learned it by just
being smart,
just watching, right?
Yeah, dude, listen, take care of your customers, bro. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it ain't rocket science, people. You're going to put out a product, put out a high quality product. You don't make as much, but guess what, man? You grow, you scale, you get referrals. People like you, your reputation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, dude, it's like, to me, common sense.
I think it's common sense. And what a lot of people don't take into account is higher quality results in more sales, results in more franchises, results in more purchasing power, results in lower prices from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to name names, but I've sat down with the biggest distributors and manufacturers in the country. And they're like, oh, you pay less. They're like, we want your business. I give them my price sheets. They're like, how many stores do you have? I'm like, we got, these conversations have happened sporadically over the last 2 years. We have 22 locations open, now 25, now 30, now 38 with another 20 some odd opening. They're like, you pay less than brands that have 400, 500, 600 locations, 1,000 locations for pretty much almost all of your products. How? I'm like, well, that's where negotiation comes in. Thanks, Wall Street. You beat me down and you robbed my father, but at least I learned a little bit, about sales. So I think, there's so many different aspects of the business that us giving higher quality and higher quantity doesn't necessarily mean bad margins. It did in the early days, of course, one store. But now, we've leveraged our growth. We've leveraged our negotiation skills, and we have some of the best cost of goods, I think, in my market, in my industry.
Will I ever see any of these out here, or are they all back east?
No, 100%. We're actually, ironically, opening our 4th location in Utah this Saturday.
Why don't you give me one for free?
Okay.
In Vegas, so you can say you have one here.
That's another, we could do that. Where are we putting it though?
Someplace good.
Okay.
We don't want a shitty location.
Would you put a retail business on the strip or like in a hotel, or would you do it outside, like in Henderson, Summerlin, these types of areas?
Either one. I mean, dude, I want traffic.
Yeah.
Right. I want foot traffic. Bang, 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 bang. And I want nice neighborhoods. You know, I don't know what your pricings are, but like, you know, acai bowls, like, dude, they're good, right? There's almost like dessert. It's like an ice cream store, dude. Look, people are coming in to get those bitches. So now I just want foot traffic.
Yeah.
And I don't need to be in Beverly Hills, but I need foot traffic. You know what I mean? But I'd ask you, I don't know, bro. You already did all the research. I'm sure you wouldn't have that many locations. So how did you get to the Torina?
Torina. So Torina is a modern Italian restaurant we opened in Brooklyn, New York earlier this year. I've always had a passion for restaurants and hospitality, but I know that I don't have the time for it. And I was looking for an alternative investment. I really like design and architecture. I'm like, you know what? The same neighborhood that launched Baya Bar has all these great restaurants, and I'm friends with pretty much all of them. They're all great people, and they've been around for 20, 30, 40 years. I'm like, all right, there's a lot of staying power here. So maybe this is a great area for another retail business. And this iconic location came available, iconic. And I grabbed my one buddy who's an unbelievable chef, Chef Joe Salameni, unbelievable.
What's his last name?
Salameni.
See, that's almost like a sells many. That sounds like you're saying sell a many.
Everything's subliminal. Nothing's real. It's all just subliminal messaging with our branding. No.
He went to his Sicilian father and said, Papa, do you have any advice to open my restaurant? And he said, just salameni. Salameni gabagool.
That's what they said in Ellis Island when they give the last name. So I said to Joe, who I had known for years, I would love to do something with you. You know, you would have to be the back of the house, the head chef. You would, you know, curate the menu. You know, I'm a foodie myself. I'm going to give you my input, but you're the guy. And then I said, but there's one problem. I can't be the front of the house guy. I'm running Baya Bar. That's my main business. That's my, not even, you know, my 9 to 5. That's my 7 to 7, my 6 to 9. I said, but I have another gentleman who you're yet to meet, who is one of the best front of house guys I've ever met in my life. His name's Sal Bianco. So I introduced the two of them. And I said, if one of you is in and one of you is out, I'm not doing it. And they both were like, we're in. Like, all right, sit back. Watch your boy negotiate a good lease here and build out an unbelievable restaurant. And we put our heads together, and Torina was born February of 25. So we're coming up on a year. This February.
Why Torina?
It's short for the name Caterina, or if I say it properly, Caterina. I heard the name with a bunch of family. My wife's nonna is Caterina. There's a lot of Caterinas in our family. There's really none in my family, but I just like the name Torina. I said, that name doesn't exist. There's so many Italian restaurants in New York, none with this name. So the branding was there. We can get the website. We can get the socials. Name. I turned to Joe and Sal. I go, do you like the name Terina? And they knew what it stood for. They go, yeah, we like it. I go, you have anyone in your family that's named Caterina? And Sal says, yeah, my mother. I'm like, okay, sold. And Joe goes, no, not my mother, but you know, I have family as well. So we went with that name.
And this food, folks, is a modern Italian.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell does modern mean? They started explaining the food. Dude, if you guys are in New York, Brooklyn specifically.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
You better go to Torina, because from what I hear, they got the shit you've never had. You've had it, but you've never had like it.
Not like this.
Yeah, like with the way you explained that lasagna, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking in.
Yeah. The menu is a mix on new school, but with the base of traditional.
And then the way you just said, you know, this iconic building. Now I'm picturing like how badass is the restaurant.
Oh,
is it like where people, you know, get reservations for months in a row, or is it, you know, like a quick eatery?
No. So most of the time you definitely have to make a reservation.
So it's nice. You get dressed up.
Yeah. I would say
Wine and all that.
on the spectrum, it's a high-end restaurant. You're dressing nicely.
Is it hard to get in? Because if it is, I want to be able to go, yeah, I can get you in Torina. Don't worry. I call fucking Joey. Billy and Joey. And Sal. Let me give him a call.
If they say that Brad sent them, well, maybe we can carve out a spot for him somewhere.
Okay, so folks, listen, Bomb Squad, I know a lot of you are in New York. You guys go into Torina. They're booked up. You want to look like a big shot? Just say, I'm with the Bomb Squad. They'll get you a table. I always say, if you go to the bathroom and it's busy, just tell them I sent you. They'll give you a good seat. So what's your goal with Torina? Are you going to franchise that, or are you going to keep it high-end, exclusive? What's your plan with Torina?
I think our plan for now is it's such a new restaurant. Let's continue perfecting it. Let's continue putting out innovative products. You know, we're already getting copied by a lot of people on some of these new innovative products. So now we're innovating more. You know, a restaurant is really a labor-intensive business, and thank God I have two great partners because they're the ones running it. We have some opportunities right now. You know, there's a lot of opportunity in New York, more iconic locations, hotels, you know, potential casinos coming down the road. There's a lot of opportunity for expansion. I think for now, we want to just keep putting out a really high quality experience because we know that people are coming to see Joe. They're coming to see Sal. They're coming for that level of experience. And right now, we want to focus on that. So we may expand at some point. There's a lot of opportunity that's knocking, but we're just focused on growing this one right now.
What's your goal with Baya Bar, though? Scale it up huge and then exit? Like, what's your future plan?
You know, when I first started it and I was young and not as business savvy as I think I am now, the idea was, you know, sell it for this big number, right? Like everyone wants the lottery ticket of selling a company for this huge number. But I've realized over the years that cash flow is one of the most important things you can have, especially as an entrepreneur, right? So I have a great team at Baya Bar, an unbelievable team. And I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface with the potential of Baya Bar. You know, we don't even market the franchise and we get so many organic leads constantly. So I think the plan is let's really grow this thing over the next 4, 5, 6, 7 years and see where it's at. And then take a step back and say, okay, what do we want to do now?
Or you can just take a little bite.
Yeah. Take some chips off the table.
That's right. You know, I want to get some out here because, again, I mean, I think the world's getting healthier.
Oh, yeah.
So franchise, you know, evolves kind of fast. Where do you see the biggest opportunities going in the next 5 years?
I think simplicity is key in franchising and in retail business in general. There's just so many businesses that they try to be a jack of all trades and they're a master of none. And one of the things that I think will succeed outside of retail as well is focusing on a smaller set of items, more specific and more intentional, and not niche necessarily, but simpler. I think that's why you see brands like Crumble, they explode, right? All they do is cookies. I'm sure they have other small add-on items. I've never gone. I got to go check one out, but you know, they're doing a hell of a job clearly, and they're focused on one product. So I think franchising in general, you need to focus on simplicity, putting out a high quality experience, because everything's getting automated now. You have AI, you have all these tablet ordering. How do you enhance the customer experience? And then, you know, just to boot with all of that, keeping costs down. It's very hard today. Labor costs are rising. Minimum wage is going up again in January. You know, there's tariffs and things that are going on that increase prices. So I think the brands that keep it simple, the brands that keep their costs down and focus on customer experience are going to crush it.
So why business consulting now? because you have teams in place, you're doing well, everything's succeeding. You got a little time your personal self.
Well, I think that's one aspect of it, is that there's this great team in place now that's running Baya Bar with me kind of topsiding it. But beyond that, I'm so active in Baya Bar, I can't say that I'm taking a step back in any way. I think what it really comes down to is so many people have been reaching out for advice, for help, questions, predominantly.
You don't even charge them.
No. And that's the thing, I don't charge, which I don't plan on charging anyone yet, right? That's not my focus on that side of things.
After you produce another bunch of winners, and you're like, dude, I produce all these. Eventually, you're going to say, hey, this costs money. Folks, you better get your questions in now. You ain't charging you shiz. So what do you like? The new startup entrepreneurs reaching out? You like, who do you think you can help most?
I think it runs the gamut. You have the people who are just starting out and forming that new business. I think you and I were talking about it earlier. There's so many people online right now that are motivational. It's always been like this. It's motivation. They're yelling, fuck school and, forget what your parents say and start your own business and start filming content. And great. Now we're all motivated and excited to start a business. I call that the A to the B. What about the C through the Z? How do I pick a name? You just don't pick a name that sounds good.
How do you protect the name?
Yeah, is it trademarkable? Are the socials available? Is there copyright infringement? Do you set up an LLC or an S Corp? Do you want partners? If you have a partner, do you have an operating agreement? I didn't have an operating agreement. That was a crazy experience to learn throughout your business career. Is like, oh wow, we never papered things up. Okay, how do you sign a lease? What do you look for in the lease? What are the gotchas in leases that I know so well? I'm talking like really nitty gritty stuff. HVAC, plumbing, electric.
You almost sounded like Christopher Walken for a minute.
Sometimes it comes out.
The leases that I know so well.
Sal's in the green room laughing right now.
What are you going to do with the leases, the catches that I know so well? Can you do a walk-in?
Can I do a walk-in? Fucking lease almost got me.
not bad.
So there's the C through the Z.
You guys remind me of those jokesters, pranksters. What are they called?
Impractical jokers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not like them, but you guys seem like you get along like that.
Yeah, it's a comedy show 24/7.
Dude, you guys should start your own reality show.
It's funny, we talked about it this week.
All you need is cameras. What we were talking about earlier, dude.
Yeah.
Instead of just on you, do it on the whole damn crew.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you guys always, you also have other characters. There's characters at Torina. There's characters at Baya Bar. There's characters in the neighborhood.
Yeah, big characters.
Yeah, you should saw it, rebuild in Brooklyn.
I like that idea.
Yeah, well, if you use it, send me a fucking bowl of acai and some fucking new lasagna.
We're going to call it the Brad.
What is the new lasagna called?
It's called, the lasagna is called the lasagna calabrese. And that's because it has indouille, which is a spicy Calabrian.
I always thought that was andouille.
So there is andouille. That's totally different. Indouille is N''Duja.
And Joe figured out, hey, let's use some fucking andouille.
Yeah.
Fuck the old gabagool. What was the old ones? Just sausage? What was it before? What goes in lasagna?
It's usually like the meat from the meat sauce. You have.
Yeah, but what kind of meat is it?
Chopped meat.
And now it's, chopped meat is what's the meat? It's chopped something.
Well, it depends on how you make your meatballs. It could be beef. It could be beef, pork, and veal.
So that's all it is whatever you make your meatballs with is layered.
I'm sure everyone does it a little differently, but yes.
What's traditional?
Don't make me listen. I'm the marketing guy here. All right, you got to ask Joe. You got to get Joe on next time.
Well, again, Joe was talking about, and then we do this, and then we do that, and it's like we make, it makes it crispy. I'm thinking, dude, crispy lasagna is like the best because like sometimes when you get the side of the lasagna,
yeah,
it's that freaking crispy piece in the corner. That's the best.
He takes the slice out, he puts a little butter and oil in a pan, and he sears it on both sides. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but one at a time. Like, dude, how do you
one at a time?
Why don't you guys like, start finding a co-packer and like ship that shit too?
I think you're going to lose a little bit of what makes it so special.
Well, let's test it. Why don't you guys just FedEx me some fucking...
We're going to Gold Belly.
Yeah. What's Gold Belly?
Never heard of Gold Belly? Come on.
What is it, like a FedEx?
Gold Belly is like a FedEx for like all different types of famous foods.
Oh.
Food brands.
Oh, and they just like...
if you get on Gold Belly, like there's a famous pizzeria in Brooklyn. You right now could buy their pizza on Gold Belly and they ship it out frozen. And then they have like heating instructions.
I'll be down. We'll get on Gold Belly then. Because, dude, everything Joe was explaining, dude, sounds like I want some.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So, well, listen, dude, how can the Bomb Squad help you out? Because you don't really need anything. Matter of fact, you're trying to help everyone else out. Bomb Squad, listen, if you're starting a business, doesn't have to be a restaurant, doesn't have to be a franchise. If you want business advice, dude's been through it. Done it. I'd hit him up at Billy Loesch. It sounds like Lesh, but it's Loesch. Billy Loesch. Plus, they're dropping content left and right. Pretty funny shit. Obviously, reach out to him before he starts charging. Get some advice. DM him. But what can the Bomb Squad do for you?
Well, I think the big thing is anyone who wants to just follow the journey, support, or get advice, as we're broaching different topics, follow me on Instagram at Billy Loesch. The website's billyloesch.com.
What if someone wants a Baya Bar in their neighborhood?
Yeah, so Baya Bar is at Baya Bar on Instagram, bayabar.com.
Baya. Sounds like buy a bar, but it's Baya.
Yeah, Baya space bar.
And it looks high end, dude. Is that the logo?
That's one of the designs for our merch. That's not our official logo.
It looks good. It looks fancy. It looks like you'd find it in fucking St. Thomas.
Well, we wanted it to be, trendy. We're New York based. There's so many fashion brands there. We didn't want it to be like just some goofy generic logo on our merch.
Do all of them look the same? Is it one of those type where like you walk into one, you've seen them all?
No. We there's a lot of aspects of the brand that are obviously consistent, but we like to take an inspiration from the neighborhood, from the area. So there's different murals and so on and so forth in all of the different locations. So they all definitely are distinguishable as a Baya Bar, but they definitely look different.
So if they want a franchise, go to but they're available. I mean, dude, yeah. I mean, this is up and running.
Oh no, we're franchising nationwide. They can go to bayabar.com.
What's the average Baya Bar make? Like, is it a
So believe it or not, from a franchise standpoint, I'm not supposed to say that.
Oh, well, just get a hold of his ass there.
Yeah, I can give you a range, obviously, and what stores are making.
It's worth doing, or
average unit volume and whatnot. I think that's better served. Like when people reach out, we give them a full scope perspective of what's the average unit volume, what's the average net profit, and also what that looks like as an ROI on your investment. I will say this: one of my focuses from a franchising standpoint has been, how do we allow people to start their own business, but not go for their lungs, put their entire livelihood on the line? Some of these brands out there, it's $500,000, $1 million to open up a retail business. It's crazy. Retail business is risky. It's wild.
It is crazy. And dude, people do them. And again, I when people ask me, what do you think about franchising? Dude, I think it's a smart move. Why? Well, because the blueprint's already figured out. That's why franchises usually stick around as long as you follow the fucking blueprint, man.
And you have a team behind you. And that's the biggest thing with franchising.
Well, that's why I would do one. Because like, dude, I got you now. If I become a franchisee, bro, you don't want me to fail. You got the blueprints. You're there if I need you. Like, yeah, I need to do the work. Yeah, I need to manage the damn thing. But I got you to freaking, basically, I got a team. If I go out and try to start my own, because I don't need the name Baya Bar. I don't know if it's big enough to mean anything yet. I'll go call it Brad's Berries. But dude, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So I'd rather call it Baya Bar. It's already established. You're already doing advertising. There's a network, a community. I got the buying power. Makes no sense to try and build my own unless I'm going to do what you did, and that's build a franchise.
And to your point, from a buying power standpoint, these are specialty products. These products are not cheap. So if you said you wanted to open up a pizza concept, I would say, all right, come up with a great recipe for your sauce, buy a high quality cheese, and open up your own pizza concept.
And you ever notice, and I know you got to go, but you ever notice where when good concepts open up and they're high quality to begin with, and then somebody sells and then they start being less quality? Like I don't know where it is, but Grimaldi's Pizza.
Yeah, Brooklyn.
That was Brooklyn. Dude,
Yeah.
They had one here. Dude, it was like, oh my God, dude, this pizza's the best. We went in there it's still good, but we went in there and I told my wife, I said, something's different. She goes, no, it isn't. I said, no, something's different. This is not quite as good. It was unbelievable. I go, something's different. I said, they changed the pepperoni. She said, no, it's the same. I said, babe, they changed the fucking pepperoni. She said, no, I don't think so. Waitress is walking by. I said, ma'am, did you guys change the pepperoni? She said, how did you know? I said, what do you mean? I can fucking taste it. Why do you think those franchises that start off so good sell? I always said it's because they sold and whoever bought it is now trying to cash in when the originals, they are like you, they wanted the high quality shit. What do you think they go downward sometimes?
So I think it's two things. Number one, when you're a new brand and you're trying to scale, it's very hard to source your products across the country at a good price.
Yeah.
So that's one part. And that's a big thing specifically with my brand. These products are coming into the main hubs, New York, LA. It's not easy to get them in middle America for a good price.
Go to Gold Belly.
Wait until you see how much they're charging on Gold Belly. What a Gold Belly plug.
Dude,
they better get me on now.
That's why they call it Gold Belly.
Yeah.
Because, dude, if you want it in your belly, you better have some gold.
That slice of pizza is worth $500 in your belly.
Yeah.
I think the second thing is a lot of brands, once they scale, they sell. Like one of my main competitors, they sold. It was the best thing that happened to me. Everyone was like, oh man, there's private equity involved now. They got a lot of money behind them. I'm like, this is great. You know why? They're watering the brand down.
Yep.
They're going to say, okay, that pepperoni that we are selling to our stores for $3 a pound, we could keep selling it for $3 a pound, but instead of buying it for $1, we could buy it for 25 cents. And there goes the quality. Because all those private equity companies, those public companies, they're looking at their bottom line. We're not. We're looking at quality and successful franchisees.
Well, appreciate you coming in. Bomb Squad, you know where to find him. I'll have him back just so I can get his merchant services business, but I'll have him back. We'll keep up with his story. Go hit him in the DMs. Get yourself a franchise or at least look into it. Or if you're in Brooklyn, stop by, get yourself an acai bowl. Go to Torina. Tell them fucking Brad sent you. Till next time, keep it real.